Good morning. Thank you for joining with me. Good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is. We are in the Manual for Teachers, section 17, How do God's Teachers Deal with Magic Thoughts? We are picking up our reading today on paragraph 6. How can this unfair battle be resolved? And let's revisit the battle. So I'm going to read paragraph 5. Anger in response to perceived magic thoughts is a basic cause of fear. Consider what this reaction means, and its centrality in the world's thought system becomes apparent. A magic thought, which I like this anyway, I think it's good to reiterate it, right? A magic thought, by its mere presence, acknowledges a separation from God. It states in the clearest form possible that the mind, which believes it has a separate will that can oppose the will of God, also believes it can succeed. That this can hardly be a fact is obvious. Okay, so how can this unfair battle be resolved? Its ending is inevitable, for its outcome must be death. How then can one believe in one's defenses? Magic again must help. Forget the battle. Accept it as fact and then forget it. Do not remember the impossible odds against you. Do not remember the immensity of the enemy, and do not think about your frailty in comparison. Accept your separation, but do not remember how it came about. Believe that you have won it, but do not retain the slightest memory of who your great opponent really is. Projecting your forgetting onto him, it seems to you he has forgotten too. But what will now be your reaction to all magic thoughts? They can but reawaken sleeping guilt, which you have hidden but not let go. Each one says clearly to your frightened mind, you have usurped the place of God. Think not he has forgotten. Here we have the fear of God most starkly represented, for in that thought has guilt already raised madness to the throne of God himself, and now there is no hope except to kill. Here is salvation now. An angry father pursues his guilty son, kill or be killed, for here alone is choice. Beyond this there is none, for what was done cannot be done without. The stain of blood can never be removed, and anyone who bears this stain on him must meet with death. Into this hopeless situation God sends his teachers. They bring the light of hope from God himself. There is a way in which escape is possible. It can be learned and taught, but it requires patience and abundant willingness. Given that, the lesson's manifest simplicity stands out like an intense white light against a black horizon, for such it is. If anger comes from an interpretation and not a fact, it is never justified. Once this is even dimly grasped, the way is open. Now it is possible to take the next step. The interpretation can be changed at last. Magic thoughts need not lead to condemnation, for they do not really have the power to give rise to guilt. And so they can be overlooked and thus forgotten in the truest sense. Madness but seems terrible. In truth, it has no power to make anything. Like the magic which becomes its servant, it neither attacks nor protects. To see it and recognize its thought system is to look on nothing. Can nothing give rise to anger? Hardly so. Remember then, teacher of God, that anger recognizes a reality that is not there. Yet is the anger certain witness that you do believe in it as fact. Now is escape impossible until you see you have responded to your own interpretation which you have projected on an outside world. Let this grim sword be taken from you now. There is no death. This sword does not exist. The fear of God is causeless, but His love is cause of everything beyond all fear, and thus forever real and always true. Thank you so much for joining with me in the conclusion of section 17 in the Manual for Teachers. I wish you a most beautiful day. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you.